Hey game designers, this is the last video on how to model a female. We're going to cover how to model the crotch and legs. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and figure out. First thing, let's go ahead and prepare our mesh to cut. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and click on Face Tools and go ahead and delete these faces here. So right now you can see that I have Object X selected. I have soft select on. Let's go ahead and turn soft select off. And let's go ahead and just start shift clicking all the faces underneath here, hitting delete. Okay, so now we have a open area for for our crotch and legs. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn Symmetry. Let's leave Symmetry on for a minute and see if this will make things faster. Okay, so just like Homer, we're going to start on these two front edges and we're going to create a lattice that goes all the way around into her backside. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn back on our references. I'm going to hit H on my group 1, turn on my references again, and I should have those edges selected. So go to Edge, click on those two edges right there. Okay, and I'm going to hit F to frame it. So I want to hit F on here to frame it, so I can see what I'm doing over here. And I'm going to frame it here as well, and go ahead and move my camera around here so I can see. Now again, if you lose sight of your references, you can just go back and click on flat shading and hardware texturing, and then you should be able to see all your references again. Okay, so I have this here, so let's go ahead and start making the crotch area. So I'm going to use the move tool and hold down shift to extrude vertically. So I hold shift and you can see now that it's creating these vertices here. So I'm going to go back to poly view so we kind of see everything in poly view here. And I'm going to go ahead and align it around her crotch and probably like so. Okay, so basically I aligned it with this line right here, and I'm going to scale down using the R tool to make sure that you're having a crotch. So your crotch area is, relatively small. So we're going to go down here, scale it down. Actually, I'm going to turn Object X off because I think this is preventing me from scaling even further down. So I want to scale down really low. So something like that. Okay, just make sure they don't crisscross here. So I'm trying to get a view and so that I can make sure they don't crisscross. Okay, and let's go ahead and do another extrusion. So I'm going to use W again, the move tool. I'm going to hold shift to create an extrusion here. And I'm going to obviously move that down to somewhere like this. And we don't have to really, kind of go upward because we already kind of created this lattice for her. And I'm starting to not like the way this looks, so I'm probably going to do a soft, go to Vertex and do a soft select here. I'm going to hold B, kind of grab this area and pull it out a little bit here. Okay, and I'll probably do the same thing here. Okay, trying to get a round circle going on here. Okay, all right, so that kind of fixes that. I can always adjust it later. Let's go ahead and go back and click on our edges. So the edges are somewhere right here. So I'm going to go back and click on my edge selection tool, make sure that I have soft select off. I click on that edge and on that edge right there. I don't seem like I have that one selected. So that edge and that edge. Okay. And I'm going to use my extrude tool again, holding shift on my move tool to extrude. So something like that. Okay. And my gut tells me that I probably need to create a lower crotch, but it looks like it's good. And at this point, I think I can just go ahead and use target weld and just go ahead and weld to target. So I'm going to click on vertices here. This one's going to go over here. This one's going to go over here. And this one's going to go over here. Okay. And now we have a crotch area for the legs. Let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, oops, and 7. So I don't like that. I'm actually going to undo this. So I'm going to undo this and probably create one more set of vertices. So so I'm going to go ahead and use my vertex selection mode, and I'm going to select these 3 right here. Make sure that my symmetry camera-based selection is off. You can see here that I selected 3, and I'm going to move this. So I'm going to kind of round it out a little bit more here. So I'm going to grab these vertices, round it out a little bit more, grab these 3 vertices, grab a little bit in here, grab these 3 vertices. And again, this is all up to you and what you feel like you need, but I'm going to go ahead and create 1, 2, 3, and now I'm going to create one more set of vertices. So let's see if I can use the bridge tool. So I'm going to go to edge mode now. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to have an even number of vertices to make the cylinder. So I'm going to click on this one and this one and see if my bridge tool works here. And it does. Okay. So I built the bridge now. It has a lattice. It goes all the way around. So now I have a lattice for the crotch area. So let's go ahead and look at how many vertices this is. So let me go ahead and hide the reference for a minute and really get in on the vertices here. So I'm going to hit on vertex mode. So click on the object, go to vertex mode, and I have 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's beautiful. Right, so now I have an 8-sided cylinder, and you kind of see it's already kind of ovalish. So when we do our legs, it's going to be nice and good. Now you can always come back here and fix some of these vertices if, like this one's, let's say, too pointy here, maybe, or this is not round enough. You can always turn symmetry on and kind of use your push tools and kind of push back. You know, create what you want here. Grab these, maybe a little bit less. You know, grab these, kind of pull in a little bit there. And kind of scroll down here, push this one a little bit more in, a little bit more up, something like that. So if you can use your smooth view, you can kind of see it looks more like this, right? Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and start making the legs now. I'm gonna go to our reference, which is group 1. Go ahead, or maybe we'll use group 2. I'm gonna unhide it. Okay. And this is the one I rotated originally to go ahead and help us with our references. But I have a feeling that I might need to rotate the leg a little bit here. So I'm going to go back and make this 0. And I'm using reference group number 2 because this will help me in case I need to rotate the leg. So say this is where the leg was. So this is 0. And you can kind of see the leg kind of tapers down like this. And it's not going to be very helpful to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of rotation. I'm going to model the left leg here. I'm going to use the E tool, the rotate tool, and just rotate it a little bit so that the leg is straight, and then move it just right there. And this will help me make her legs. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and start modeling the legs. Again, we're going to start with a cylinder. And it doesn't matter if interactive selection is on or not. We're going to go ahead and go into the tools. You can see it's created down here. Let's go ahead, and everything's all zeroed out already. Let's go ahead and change the subdivision to 8 because we said that our number of vertices we're going to connect is 8. Subdivision height, we're going to leave it as 1. Height is obviously not long enough, so let's go something like 6. And it looks just about right. So I'm going to make this number a nice whole number, 3 here. And I'm going to move it over to the left side. And it's definitely way too thick in terms of radius. So let's go like something like 0.4. Okay. And let's go ahead and frame this thing. So obviously at her ankle, I'm going to probably need to make it a little bit smaller. Her thighs, I'll probably need to make it a little bit thicker. But as long as I'm on the right side of the x-axis, I should be good. And now I can start tapering and whatnot. Okay, so just like we did on the homework example, we're going to go ahead and add more edge loops here to help us out. So I'm going to go to Mesh Tools, insert edge loop. You'll see it right here. And you just click anywhere you want to make an edge. And again, you don't have to be very precise because we can always move those edge loops later. So I'm going to go ahead and start at the top here. I'm going to add one section for her thigh, another section for her thigh. And again, this is a moving joint. I'm going to go to her knees and make 2 for her knees right here. And these are just the moving joints. I'm going to go down to her ankle, make 3 here. Something like that, and I'll move in later. And just looking at the definition between her crotch area into her thigh, how many edge loops do you think you need? And it looks like it tapers down a little bit, so maybe I'll just add 1 edge loop. And again, you can always add more as you need it. And over here, her calf and shin, it's a little bit more definition. So it kind of comes out and curves here, and then kind of curves in. So I'm going to add an edge loop here, an edge loop here, and maybe an edge loop right here, like the top right here. So that kind of gives us the numbers that we need. Now I'm just going to go back and do a little bit of edge selection here, which I'm going to click on each edge loop and just make sure that my edge loops are nice and symmetrical. Make sure you turn off your edge loop tool and just go to selection tool here. And I'm just going to slightly move it so that they're nice and equidistant. So there. Move the knee down so that's in the middle. Okay, and then come down here. Frame here, I can't really see. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna click on this edge loop here and move it up. That'll be my ankle right there. Okay, and this is where I'm gonna extrude out and make the feet. All right, so let's go ahead and see where we're at here. Now we're gonna start working on the rings. So let's go ahead and start, maybe start top to bottom. So I want to start with this edge ring here. I'm going to ahead and use a scale tool and make sure that Object X symmetry is off, because right now we're working with edge rings. When you're working with edge ring, you don't really want symmetry off because otherwise your widgets will not be centered. Okay, so I'm going to check both these views again. So you can see from my side view, I'll hit F to frame it, F to frame it, right? I want to center it as center as I could around here and around here. So somewhere around there. And I'm going to scale it up here. I'm going to scale in both directions for now. And realize that I'm probably not as centered as I could be. I'm going to use W tool to recenter it. And then I'm going to check here, back to R tool, and try to scale it so that it reaches the width of her thigh. So somewhere around there. Okay. Maybe that's a little bit too much. Scale it down a little bit. That looks like a problem right there. Let's go ahead and scale it this way, scale it a little bit more that way, and maybe move it a little bit more this way. Okay. All right. So now we got the first ring. Let's go and go to the second ring now. Same idea. Make sure it's centered this way and this way right here. So you can see now what I mean by center means the distance between here and here, the same distance between here and here. So when I scale it upward, it will meet just about the same point. Now I was a little bit off, a little bit there. Now scale it again. Check your scales in both directions so that you're scaling enough this way as well. Okay, and that looks good there. Go to the next edge ring. Double click on the next edge ring and center it. I'm going to center it right about there. That looks good. Let's go ahead and scale it out. Okay, and this one looks like I can center it a little bit more. Back to moving, scaling. And again, you don't have to be as precise as me, but that's just up to you how you want to model. And of course, again, this is just a reference. You can go ahead and choose how you want to scale yourself or how you want to change your proportionalities here. So I'm going to make sure, I'm going to hit the Q tool to select. I'm going to select, make sure you highlight the entire ring here if you're using edge loops. And I'm going to go ahead and move it. Center it there. Center it there. Go ahead and scale it up now. And scale it more over here. Okay. And I'm going to go over here now to the next edge loop. Frame it, F to frame it, F to frame it, to kind of see closer to where you're working with here. And I'm going to double click, so I click on the entire loop here. Go ahead and move it, center it where I want it. Center it around her knees here. Scale it up a little bit. Okay, and scale it Okay, go to the next edge loop. Same idea. Scale inward. Scale inward. Expand a little bit there. A little bit wider over here. Okay, go to the next edge loop here. I'm going to move it first, center it. Doesn't look like I need to scale very much at all. So I'm going to scale a little bit here. And if you can't really see your reference because it's behind the reference image, you can go ahead and use your move tool and use your perspective view. So this is the front of her leg, but this is like the back right here. And you're going to see how thick it is already. And it's already kind of on the back side, you know, relatively thick enough already. So we don't have to change much here. So maybe just, looks like it's good already. Okay, even though you look at the front, it looks bad, like it's not enough. But you look at the back, it's actually pretty good. Okay, so we don't need to scale much at all. Okay, let's go next to the next edge loop. Double click on that. We're going to move it and center it. So that looks like about center right there. Go to this view, center it right there. Scale it with R a little bit wider. Okay, check to the back side of her and frame it here on your perspective view. Kind of see if this is how thick you want it for her calf. Okay, and looks like that looks good. That thickness looks maybe too big, so I'm going to scale it down in the red direction. Something like that. Okay. And again, it looks kind of funky, but once you get down and you hit on smooth view, it's going to all fix itself out. So I'm click on the next edge loop here, and I'll frame it with F. Again, I'm going to move that right there and frame it here. That looks like it's centered at her foot. So I'm going to go to the next edge loop here, and I'm going to, oops, make sure you click on the edge loop, double click on the edge loop. Okay, move it. Looks like I need to scale much more down. Something like that. Scale it in the middle again, scale it outward. Okay, kind of check on my perspective view, hit F, and kind of check on my perspective view if I'm doing it thick enough here, so less. So it looks like it's really lower. Something like that. Okay. Alright, and we're going to go to the next edge loop here, and we're going to go ahead and frame it here to help us scale it to our foot. So it's going to be somewhere around here. I'm going to need to scale it much more lower so that we can see what's going on here. And I'm going to move it. I'm going to check this side of it, and it looks like it's even too thick on this side. So kind of scale it down, kind of move it, and then maybe scale it back a little bit wider. Okay, that looks about right. All right, go to the next edge loop. And I can go on, like, if you want, you can click on all three edge loops if you want. So I'm just going to click on this edge loop. It's all going to come out the same. Okay, go about here, and then kind of check the thickness. It's way too thick on this side, so I'm going to scale it way down. Something like that. Maybe a little bit more to the right. Scale it a little bit more upward. Okay, and there we go. And next edge ring right here. We're going to kind of scale it down, or we're going to move it. And actually I'm going to click on this edge ring and start moving it as well. Okay. And what I'm going to do is, before we start modeling this, go ahead and do our extrusion for our foot so that we can already kind of see this webbing and see if we need to adjust it even more. So I'm going to use the extrude tool. So I'm going to go ahead and click on, let's go ahead and use our perspective view here. Go to the front of her foot. Okay, so the front of her foot is basically these two faces. Okay, so I'm actually going to go ahead and click F or to hide our references. So I'm going to go here and hide our reference real quick. So if you kind of look at her front of her foot, which is up here, right? We're going to go to click on the object, go to face mode, and we're going to click on these two faces. This is the same two faces we used to extrude for Homer. So we're going to use Control E. Or just actually, we're not going to even extrude, I'm sorry. We're just going to move it. So we're going to move this face like so. Okay? And then now we're going to go ahead and turn back our reference. And we can fix all these stuff. Okay? Let's go ahead and hit back our reference back on. Okay? So it looks like we got about the right height. But you can see, let's use smooth view. It starts to look like this right here. And that's probably not what we want. Just go to edge mode. I'm going to click on this edge and kind of bring it down. Okay, so that kind of flattens it out a little bit here. And then we're going to click on this bottom edge loop here, kind of move it out there. Maybe we need to scale it a little bit here. I'm going to use the R tool, scale it a little bit wider here. Okay, maybe we can click on this tool and scale it as well. Again, to scale it this lengthwise like that. Kind of get there. If you want to, again, add more edge loops, we can. So maybe you want to really capture that bump. So we might need to add another edge loop. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's go to Mesh Tools, insert another edge loop, and we're going to insert another edge loop right there. Wait, what happened? Let's go to Poly View, insert an edge loop right there. Okay, so now we have 3 edge loops that we can work with, and we can move around. Okay, oops, don't want to do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to Smooth View, kind of see what we're working with here, and let's go ahead and move these a little bit. So let's go back to this edge loop. Yeah, make sure I click on, not click on your edge looping tool anymore because you keep creating edge loops. Go ahead and click on this, and I'm probably going to make this probably like somewhere around here. I'm going to scale it up a little bit this way. Okay, probably click on this edge loop and scale it down a little bit, so it's going to create that tapered look. Right, get the toes, and right here I'm probably going to move it so I can create the back of the heel and scale it up a tad bit here. And let's go to Smooth View now, and now we kind of get an idea what we want. Okay, so I want to go back to this one and probably scale it a little more this way, move it a little bit more this way, scale it a little bit more this way. Okay, and you can see this one in Smooth View, you might want to do a little bit more on the ankle. Okay, maybe this one we can move a little bit more here and scale it a little bit more. Okay, and now we got to kind of check the perspective view and see how thick the foot looks. So we're kind of checking the side view, but we can't do it here because of most of the foot is behind the front reference here. So we can kind of squish it in right here to kind of create that ankle look. Create that there. Double click this and really expand that out. Okay, maybe a little bit more. Not too much. Okay, little bumps here, and that looks good. Now it looks like we got her foot geometry down. We got her thighs doing okay. Okay, and it looks like we have most of our contours. Okay, so now's our time to, if we're happy with our leg, we're ready to duplicate it. Okay, so remember, how do we do duplicate? It's a 4-step process. Okay, so let's go ahead and review those 4 steps. So you click on the object, you make sure that everything is zeroed out, which is not. So we're going to click on Freeze Transformation. You'll see here that if I use the W tool, the pivot's in the middle of the object. We're going to go ahead and reset that. So now it's at the origin. And now we can go to Edit and Duplicate Special. And we're going to duplicate it, copy a parent to the -1 side, hit Apply. Okay. We now have the copy selected. The copy also needs to be zeroed out. So we have this -1 scale here. I want to click on Freeze Transformation. So now that we have both, and we're now ready to attach the leg to the body. So let's go ahead and get rid of the reference for a minute. So I'm going to go back to Group 2 and hide that. Oh, you can see here I have some issues. What happened over here? Okay, this is not good. I don't know what's going on here. What happened when I turned on the reference? So apparently her thighs were too close to the middle line, so it caused the thighs to kind of collide. So let's go ahead and hit delete. I'm not happy with this leg, so let's go ahead and delete on this one. Let's go back to this one real quick and make sure that whatever edge loops we're doing with here, that that it doesn't go across the x-axis. So I'm going to go back to edge loops here, and I'm just probably going to move these. I don't want any of the edge loops to be be too far this way. And let's go ahead and turn back my reference on and figure out why did my legs go further? Oh, just because of the way my reference was. I should have moved my reference maybe a little bit more to the right. Okay, but this looks good. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn that off. Turn back the reference back off. I think I'm at least ready to go ahead and merge them. So let's go ahead and turn off the cylinder. I'm sorry, the grouping again. Where is it? Group 2, and hide that. Okay, and now let's go back and go ahead and duplicate it again. Although I do want to fix some of this though. Yeah, this is way too, doesn't look smooth at all. So let's go to edge mode. Double click on this edge. Even though I use my reference pretty accurately, but I think just some things in smooth view don't look the way they're supposed to. So I'm going to move it here, scale it down. Okay, go to this one here, kind of move it. Definitely scale it down a little. Okay, and move it, scale it down a little. Okay, and I think I can move these a little bit more this way, but not too much. Okay, something like that. All right, so let's go back and duplicate it now again. Sorry about that little detour there. Let's go back to object mode. Click on this leg, everything's all zeroed out. Okay, make sure that it's resetted. Okay, and let's go ahead and duplicate it. Duplicate special, hit apply, everything should be the same, hit apply. Go ahead and zero this one out. Okay, and now let's go ahead and take these two legs and body. You can left click, shift click all three on your perspective views and go ahead and go to mesh and combined. Once we combined it, now we can go ahead and use merge. So let's go ahead and look at and turn symmetry on, because this is when we want symmetry on, because we want to repeat double our work. And since we planned it out right, oh, I've got to delete the faces. Let's go ahead and click and delete these faces here. I'm going to go to at face mode and click on the faces here. Okay, and delete those faces before we go ahead and have extra faces. Now we're going to go into vertice mode and go ahead and work on these vertices. All right, so, ooh, that's not good. Let's go ahead and change one of these vertex real quick. You see when these vertex are really, really close, sometimes you don't know which one you're clicking on. You click on the right one or the left one. So go ahead and just practice it. So this one's is like that. So I would just want to separate these so I know which one's on which. So that one's the wrong way, so like that. So again, this is why we avoid trying to make our vertices too close to the x axes. Otherwise, you'll run into this issue where your vertices will crisscross. Okay, so I kind of made it so that the meshes don't crisscross. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do our target weld. We're going to go to target weld here, and I'm going to merge to target. Okay, so I'm going to go from the bottom point to the top point. So let's start with the, I don't know, this one looks good. Pretty easy which one this connects to. That connects to this one here. And kind of work our way around. So this one goes to the inner thigh right there. Work our way around this way. That one goes there. Now I'm going bottom to top. I'm using target. So again, how target works is that it goes where the point you want to move and where do you want to move it. So I'm using this one to weld to these. Okay, zoom out here. Click on this one, and my target weld here. Shift click and drag. Shift click and drag, and go on the inside here and see the last one. It looks like that one. And there you go. Okay, now we have target properly welded it. Let's go and go to smooth view and start kind of fixing, not smooth view, not 3, no, 4. Go to smooth view here, and then now you can really, you know, check out the curves and see if there's anything you want to fix. So I think, let's go and turn on my first reference here, hit H, and make sure that I have hardware texturing on and flat shading on. Okay, and let's go ahead and fix some of these contours. So let's see, it doesn't look this bad. Let me go ahead and turn off this one and just eyeball it. So I can just tell that this looks too bulky right here. So I'm going to go to edge mode here. Go to edge mode here and double click on this edge. That's not letting me. Do I have wireframe mode on? Okay, make sure. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Okay, this is poly view. This is edge view. Do I have wireframe on? Nope. Okay. Okay, let's go to vertex mode here. Make sure I got what I want here. Go back to 3 view. Okay, I'm going all over the place here. Okay, hit 6, I think, to get this. No, it's both view. Let's go to 3 view, 1 view, and then go to 3 view, and then get rid of 1 view. Okay, and I want to get rid of 4 display with wireframe. No, I don't want wireframe. I want mesh frame 3. Okay. So anyway, let's go ahead and fix some of these. Back to edge mode. I'm going to click on this edge and try to click on the edge ring here. And it's not letting me. That's weird. Let's click on this edge right here. Oh, because I have my the wrong mode on. It was on the welding mode. So okay, so click here. I'm going to first fix here. And go ahead and scale it down a little bit here. So I'm going to use the R tool and scale it down a little bit. Okay, get her thighs a little bit more. Geometry. Nope, wrong way. Right about there. Okay, that fixes her thigh a lot more. Okay, this curve is not good right here. Like you don't have like this weird bump coming out of the middle of your thigh. It kind of looks like it's rotating. So let's kind of go back here. There you go. And even this one still looks a little weird, and just kind of roll it in a little bit. Roll it in a little bit. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to vertex mode. This is too triangular in here. So let's go ahead and maybe use a soft select. I don't know if I want to use a soft select or not. Or just a vertex mode. Looks like I need to use a soft select. So I'm going to click on this and use B and kind of soft select a little bit inside here and pull it inward a little bit. Okay. So that creates a more natural crotch area. This one looks like a little bit also too tight in here. So I want to go out like that. Okay. And what else? Some quick fixes here. I don't know if I want to pull this one in or out. Nope, definitely out. Okay. Okay. All right. And again, these are just references. You can go ahead and go in there and change and add more curves, less curves, alter the curves how you like. Maybe pull the thigh out just a little bit there, smoothen that out a little bit, maybe a little bit more. And I think I got pretty much what I wanted. Okay, kind of look here now. And now we have a female model, guys. Congratulations if you got to this video and you pretty much finished your female model. Okay, and that'll be all. All right.